Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Figure Kit Garage, fellow resin heads and kit builders. Brent Crew with another out-of-the-box review, and for the first time, and what will be hopefully many occasions, I'm joined by my fiance Virginia. Say hello.
Hello.
And we are going to be doing a review of a kit that she got in the mail this past Tuesday. As you can see by the gigantic number of parts, well, not gigantic, but the numerous amount of parts sitting in front of me on the table. This kit is incredible in every sense of the word. This kit is called the Succubus. There was a collaboration on a Kickstarter, and this is a Kickstarter exclusive. Yes?
It is actually not an exclusive. It will be available in the future, I don't know when, for a larger price than what I paid for the Kickstarter.
Fair enough, I stand corrected. There you go, the Figure Kit Garage, expect the unexpected. But this was a Kickstarter that she pledged towards. Once she saw this, she fell in love with it. It was available in 3 different sizes, 140 millimeter, 150 millimeter, and 1/8 scale, which is what the kit in front of you is. This kit was designed by Bayard Wu, sculpted by Ali Jalali, and this was a collaboration between Tago Collectibles out of Italy and Level Up Hobbies out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, the Kickstarter itself ended in right around the tail end of May, right?
It started in May, I think it ended in June.
Ended in June? Okay, it ended in June. And she waited about the same amount of time as I did for my Karloff Pierce kit from Typhon Studios. She also had to wait for this because it did ship from Rome, Italy. With the current pandemic and everything going on, it does take a little while to get stuff from overseas. This kit was, how much was this? What did you pay for it?
199 euros, which was $236.06.
With $36 shipping, correct?
With $36 shipping. The future price of this kit is going to be 279 euros, which is 330.96 US dollars.
So there you have it. It helps to be part of a Kickstarter because you get the early bird pricing, which is what she was a part of.
I saw the artwork before I saw the Kickstarter. It was a concept that I saw and I fell in love with it, and I kept an eye on it until the Kickstarter became available, and then I jumped on it.
Fair enough. As the way it goes with a lot of Kickstarters and some even custom pieces, you never see what the actual kit is. Sometimes you see the concept only. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the camera out of the mount here. This is my cell phone. I apologize for all the bumps. And I'm going to show you the box art. This is the slipcase box art. Try to pull back a little bit here. Gorgeous box art. And this is the original artwork done by Bayard Wu, which she also did give a print of to frame. And this thing is absolutely beautiful. Pull back a little bit more, get that under the light. Ooh, bad reflection. The Succubus. Now there is some nudity to this, so certain parts of her anatomy have been covered. Thanks, YouTube. But other than that, I'm actually really rather envious of this kit, or of her, because had I thought about it, I would have jumped on this myself. It's really well designed. It's incredibly well thought out in the design process as far as the fit, the layout, the level of detail is through the roof. If you've never heard of Tago Collectibles, they do a lot of RPG miniatures for different role-playing games. They're smaller resin pieces. The detail is off the chart. I looked up their website, and I'll leave a link to their website down below in the comments. But the level of detail and quality that they get in every single one of their pieces is just ridiculous. And this piece right here is no exception at all. So we're going to take a look at this, and this is 31 pieces with everything you see in front of you and all these little parts and pieces that I'm not going to take out of the bag, because it'd be a headache to try and fit all this together in one shot. And there are some pieces that I cannot fit on here because they're going to have to be drilled and pinned to the base and parts of the columns. So I'm going to move these wings out of the way, and we'll get to those here in a second. We're going to start off with the base itself. Rock design base. Skulls buried in the dirt. And all of the main stonework pieces are keyed in beautifully. I don't know if this is a steel rod or if it's just resin only, but we're probably going to wind up having to use steel reinforced epoxy to glue that in. Wouldn't be a bad idea because of the way this thing is designed. But the design is beautiful.
And there's almost no cleanup at all.
Yeah, which is surprising for a kit this size in 1/8 scale. The fact that there is practically no cleanup, zero seam lines or any flashing of any kind on any of the pieces, which is a rarity. Now, I'm not sure exactly how they do the casting on these things, especially with this kit, but this is a real surprise to me. And one of the biggest parts of the base is this, sorry about the camera shake, is this gigantic stone column. And she actually lays on this. She's laying on her stomach. Beautifully sculpted rock. All the cracks. Looks like part of a statue that was supposed to be there. Kind of interesting. And that will fit right into the base. Kind of wiggle it in, and it will sit just like that, practically seamless the way it sits down inside of it. Definitely do not have enough room for something this size. And then this is one of the little goblin statues that sits right next to her. She actually got two of them.
It's a goblin shaman.
Goblin shaman, excuse me. The chain detail is ridiculous. It's really well sculpted. The casting came through beautifully. It translated really, really well. And you have the little goblin, and I have one of the goblin heads. Ugly little bugger, isn't he? And his head is just going to sit in there like so. Try to readjust the light so you can see him just a little bit better. Sits in there just like that. Maybe a little bit of putty work along the back side of the neck, but other than that, it's a practically flawless fit. Really, really well designed and thought out. And then this guy also comes one of these little maces or shaman stick staff that will sit in his hands like so. And I'm going to use Quake Putty later on to try and assemble this as best I can, but it'll sit in there just like that. And there's two shaman staffs and two of these little columns, and that one will sit in here just like so. Readjust the camera angle. So there's one of the two columns. I'm going to set the other one over here. Then you have this little cluster of rock debris. Again, really well sculpted, washing, dry brushes. Possibilities are endless. And that will sit in there just like that. And then there's this set of stone columns, one broken, one complete. But there's also keys for the chain work, which came in the little plastic bag, which I'm not even going to pull those things out and try to fit them in. Again, chain work around the stones, really beautiful. And that will sit in there like so. So now we have the workings of the base. I'm going to bring this forward. I'm going to turn this sideways so you can see it a little bit more complete. Just really nicely designed. A little bit of a gap on those rocks, but you know what? It actually is supposed to look that way. It's broken and collapsed. You know, really, really excellent. I got to admit, the more I see, the more I look at this, I'm really starting to like it more and more. Lucky.
Maybe I'll let you help me with it.
Oh boy, here we go. And then this is a cloth that goes across the top of that rock formation. If you can see that in the camera, really beautiful detail in the cloth, almost like a canvas or heavyweight cotton, but you can actually feel the texture in that detail. And she'll lay straight across this, and this will drape. Make sure I got this the right way. Nope, I don't. There it is. And it'll lay just across the top of the rock, right like that. And any non-detailed areas are hidden perfectly. It drapes over, gives it a nice little sense of motion, but not too much. And then we have these little skulls, which are really, really well done. And these will sit pretty much anywhere on the base. Probably put him right there. And the camera back down. And then you have these three, which with a little spike through the top of the skull. This one actually goes on the back side of the columns, which goes right about, should be right up in there, up underneath. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think that's the way it looks on the box art. I'll take that top off and get a little bit better light on that. Yeah, there's no directions with this piece whatsoever, so trying to figure out...
The directions are PDF.
The directions are PDF?
Yes.
Okay, there was also a downloadable PDF file for how to paint this thing.
Yeah.
From the creators, which was kind of a nice deal to include. And then there's 3 more skulls.
That would go on the other side, I think.
Yeah. Although we're going to have to look at that to figure out the exact placement, but these will go nailed to the columns themselves. And then we have this guy here being tormented by another little goblin. Beautiful detail in the beard, the ropes that he's bound in. His clothing just sculpted really nicely. Little indentations, and I'll show you exactly where will all be. One of the skulls actually fits into the recessed part of his back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so now we actually know where he's going to go, sort of. I'll have to look and see how this thing is placed, but it'll fit just like that. I haven't seen rope detail sculpted in like this in a while. It looks really, really beautiful. It can actually be done as almost a metal type of rope, but just excellent sculpting. Boots nicely detailed, all the wrinkles and folds in the clothing. Just amazing. And as you can see, his beard is pointed upwards. And there is a reason for this. He is not the star of the show. The star of the show is the lady that I'm about to bring out on camera. And I'm going to put this cloth back across the top. And of course, the star of the show is the succubus herself. This is a really beautifully sculpted piece. Gorgeous hair detail all the way down. Gratuitous butt shot for everybody out there. You're welcome. And the tail will connect right there and swing up underneath. Then you have the satyr-like hooves and lower legs from the knee down. Hair detail just nicely done. Even the hoof detail on the bottom. Just amazing. This guy really paid attention to this. Nailed it in every possible way. Very beautiful face. And then the second piece to her is her hair, which will sit in like that. A little bit of seam line work across the back. But other than that, it blends in almost perfectly. Horn detail. Just excellent all the way around. And then her left leg, which will actually drape downwards across the back side of the base, ever so slightly. And
you might want to use the putty for that.
Yeah, I'm going to use the Quake putty for this, make sure it doesn't fall off. But seam line work on that, really minimal. Just an excellent overall kit. I'm going to take the hair out and set it off to the side. Then we have her right arm. Sorry about the camera being out of focus. It's been giving me problems a lot lately. And her right hand is what is actually grabbing onto the gentleman's beard and holding him up by it. But they've already done a lot of cleanup work on this. And then that will fit in right at the hairline. So blending that in should not be a whole lot of exercise. Relatively simple. And then her left arm actually sits playfully almost right next to the edge of her, almost right by her chin and her mouth. A little bit of putty work to blend that back. But all in all, this kit is really, really well designed. The casting on this is one of the most flawless I've ever seen.
And for the size of the kit, it's got a small footprint.
It does. The height-wise, yeah, it might be a little bit of an issue, but as far as the width and the depth, that's not that big of a kit at all. And then the left wing, which will fit in right back here, near seamless fit. Excellent detail in those wings. And then we have the right wing, which is not folded back nearly as much and goes into a different spot on her back and fits in, sorry, just like so. Just a gorgeous piece all the way around. So what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to pull out my trusty Quake putty and try to assemble this to give you some idea of what this lady's going to look like. And we're going to start off with that little goblin on the column right there. So pull off a wad of this. And the two different goblin heads are the exact same ones. There's no difference in between them. They're pretty much identical, so I think you were probably going to wind up building a separate little holder for that other one, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to build a separate base for the other one.
Yeah, it didn't, for some reason, it didn't come with any kind of a separate standalone base to display it like a lot of the kits like my Narn Wolverine. And a lot of other kit companies have been doing that, but for some reason this one didn't. There were a ton of extras you could get along with the Kickstarter rewards. There were paints available.
Paints and other kits, but they were, you had to pay extra for them. And because of the amount I already paid for the kit, I just couldn't do the extra amounts to pay.
No, it's, you wanted the kit, you got the kit, and
I mean, I got a pin, and I got the artwork, and I got a sticker.
yeah, let me see that's the pin, beautiful golden light purple cup. Whoa. Okay, Quake Putty's not going to work.
Not on that. It's too small.
Yeah, it's okay. Get that out of there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, not all parts are going to be held up by Quake Putty. And then we have the Succubus sticker, leveluphobby.com, 2020 Tago Collectibles, Bayard Woo. Really beautiful artwork.
Now, I did not get the nameplate to go on the base because
That's right.
I didn't get the base to go with it because the base was also the extra base was also an extra amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to make another small base to go underneath that and add this sticker to the base.
Yeah, they gave you an option of having a wooden base with an actual, a really beautiful nameplate that they were including with it. But being budgeted for just what she got, she wasn't able to do that, which, no big deal. Getting a round wooden base, staining it the right way, really shouldn't be that much of a problem.
And then using the sticker as the nameplate wouldn't be no problem at all.
Very true. Seal underneath some lacquer and there you go.
Yeah.
Try to get her arms on there, and she is going to lay, whoops,
Got it.
I got her butt backwards, literally. And she will lay right across the top of the base, just like that. Set her hair back in there.
I'm gonna put her other leg on.
Yeah. I'm going to readjust the camera one more time so I can get a decent shot of how this is going to look. Definitely need to invest in a high-def video camera, to say the least. And I'm hoping this putty will actually hold that leg on there the right way. Try a smaller piece so I don't have to push it so damn hard. And we'll fit that on there like so. And that is how she's going to be draped across the base. It's a really excellent concept. Nice, definite shades of, dare I say, Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell, or even Frank Frazetta in a lot of ways in the fantasy realm. If I insulted anybody's fandom of any of those artists, I do apologize, but that's, in a lot of ways, it kind of reminds me of that. They were always doing really fantastical artwork, all different kinds of creatures and characters out of mythology, and even some that weren't out of mythology. And then the tail will curve back and around just behind her left leg like that. And we'll get the wings put in. If I keep bumping the camera, folks, I do apologize. And I gotta stand up to put this wing on because this is the right wing. Thank God for Quake Putty. This is definitely not a beginner's kit in any way, shape, or form. This is definitely geared towards the more experienced builder, especially for those that have been in the gaming world for the. Whoops! There goes her arm.
Yeah, there goes her wing.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't expect, because the way the wing is sitting, it aims at it. It's too heavy. So. Her arm actually, oh, there we go. I actually had the arm sitting wrong. I'll just leave the wing like that.
And then just hold the little elf up there.
I don't know if he's an elf, but he's definitely somebody that got caught where he shouldn't have been.
Exactly.
And then that is how he's going to be held up.
Yeah.
So from bottom to top, this is definitely something that is going to take a lot of time to get right. Oh, there goes the wing. I'm going to take that wing off.
That's fine.
Get that off of there. But concept and design wise, this kit is absolutely gorgeous.
I fell in love with the artwork and waited for the kit to come.
It's kind of how I did with the Death Becomes Her, the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
She was artwork before she was a kit. Strange how that happens. But that is the Succubus from Tago Collectibles. No known release date from Level Up Hobbies, is that right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So for those of you that are interested in this, you will have to definitely wait until Level Up Hobbies and Tago Collectibles decides to release her to the general public. The lucky ones were the people that got this through the Kickstarter. I'm going to get a real quick measurement. Height-wise, to the top of that wing is just a hair under 12¼ inches in height. So height-wise, she's not barely over a foot tall. Not too bad overall. And then front to back at the widest point, which is going to be her right hand to the back of her leg. Oof. We're looking at right at almost 10½ inches front to back. And then width-wise, turn her around real gently. Oop, caught that leg. Need to get real careful. Don't want to break this because it does not belong to me. I'll get my butt kicked and you guys won't hear from me again. Width-wise, from the outside edge of that wing to this edge of the base is right around 7¾ inches. So it's got a decent sized footprint, but it's not anything gigantic. Overall, this piece it's gorgeous. Well thought out, well sculpted. The casting is absolutely amazing. And when I mean there is zero cleanup on her, I'm going to disassemble her real quick. When this came in and we looked at her the very next day, you can barely see any kind of a seam line going up the back. And I don't know if this was a two-piece mold or if it was a single. It's really hard to tell because there's no seam line on her leg except for this little bit running right up here, and they cleaned almost all of it up. And the same thing on the main body. You can see kind of a little seam line right here going down, but apart from that, it's virtually clean of any prep work whatsoever. So this was definitely a good purchase. A lot of thought went into it. For an original piece, it definitely stands out on its own. It doesn't need to compete with anything. It doesn't need to be compared with anything. You know, needless to say, it's definitely worth the price of admission. I know she's happy with it.
Extremely.
She couldn't wait to get this thing open. She kept checking and making sure that everything was paid for. And when she finally got the shipping notice, all we could pretty much do was just wait for FedEx to show up with it, and they showed up with it on Tuesday afternoon as I was getting ready to leave for work. So with that in mind, you have anything else you want to add, dear?
No.
No? So with that in mind, that has been it for this review of the Succubus from Tago Collectibles and Level Up Hobby. Hope everybody is staying safe, maintaining your social distance. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe.
Build a kit.
You heard the lady. Build a kit.